Caring has a lot of definitions. There is one thing in common with the definitions. It is when you hold something of value. So, are we caring less about the world these days? Are we actually caring less about everything? Has the world become a deterministic place where what is, and there is nothing you can do about it? Has it? Or has it always been? The illusion of choice the mass media or governments give on certain areas has been made aware to more and more people by recurring bailouts of the banks and governments, corrupted politicians or bankers remaining in power, the abuse of government money, and the constant flow of ridiculous entertainment news. Considering that the Wall Street bailouts, they actually exceeded the total cost for all United States wars. When numbers don't mean anything to you, they become absurd and ridiculous. By illusion of choice, I mean that you can't always choose, probably not even half of the time. I mean, not really. Even if you can actually choose, the outcomes are usually good for someone else, not meaningful for you, or a disaster for you, meaningless for everybody else. You are not definitely free to choose all the time and succeed. However, you are free to choose and become homeless. That's true and real freedom. It is not actually so when our parents said, you can become anything. You most definitely cannot. It wasn't as simple. Most of us don't realize that, whether it's because our parents never told it or we were too stupid or stubborn to realize it. If you notice that you are in a dead-end job or doing something completely demotivational, opposite of what you want to do, it is really hard to pretend you care. You need to care a lot about yourself, the world around you, and your place in it if you want to succeed, reach your goals and make a difference. If you don't care either about yourself or the world around you, you are on a collision course to failure, personal or professional. Of course, you need to understand things as well, but it all starts with the effort of trying. There is seemingly little to care about if you only read the mass media news or follow broadcasting television. And for the normal person, it can be difficult to see what information is actually relevant from the already being chewed, ready to digest news today's media mainly is. True inspiration comes from understanding, and it's hard to understand much of the world today or its connection to you. One needs to really decide which media to follow or be very observant and aware of their surrounding world if they are to keep up. I remember when I was a teenager and going through a hard time with hormones and the emerging realization that I was actually an individual. During a period of more or less 2 years, I gave my parents a hard time. I didn't care. So they say, or at least so it seemed. But of course I cared. I cared more than I had ever known possible before. I had all these feelings and thoughts and ideas, but it was very hard to place them in the right order so that they would have made sense in my head. I absolutely cared, but I wasn't focused. So I can understand why it probably seemed that I was just drifting. But I did care deeply about things. I actually even felt, probably for the first time, empathy during those years. I could see myself observing the situation from the third perspective, leaving sympathy out of the picture. I was thinking, I could not have been bothered with anything else. For me, growing up, education was always a big thing. It was an institution which I saw as metaphorical pillars, shadowing a door which I would eventually enter and then exit once I was done. I felt the knowledge which I needed to survive in the world would be given to me by people smarter than me, and then I would be on my way to success. Now, most people realize that that is indeed not the case. Education, or should I say degree, does not guarantee you success. However, if the school you attend, whether it's a physical or metaphorical one, teaches you to be observant, thirsty for more knowledge and never stopping to learn more, you just might have a chance. See, for me, caring is different than going to an animal farm to play with cuddly animal babies, saving the planet, or volunteering for homeless people. It is different than any real physical, tangible thing. To me, caring is about being truly aware of your existence, your status in life, your feelings, emotions, thoughts, ideas, fears, aspirations, and putting all that into an articulate form. To me, caring starts with me in the most deepest form as possible. Now, some people think that that's a self-centered thing to say. What about the world around you? The thing is, I don't need to care about the world to do the right thing. I need to define what is the most important thing to me. What do I care about the most? And the rest comes naturally. I don't generally do altruistic things. I try to do utilitaristic or consequential things. Things with actual meaning based on an overall value to as many parties, myself included, as possible. Like said, that young teenager me still cared, but he lacked information. Information that he could really understand and use. Some get that through education in schools, some educate themselves, some disregard education altogether, and they usually become pretty oblivious, seemingly careless of the world. Between all the lines of sensationalized headlines, behind all the political decisions and how it's communicated to the people, behind market trends and cultural phenomena, is information. Useful information. Usually you need to just ask yourself why, how, who, etc. Usually by the fifth question you have found out so much more than you even thought possible. I find it odd that some conversations go like this. Why did that happen? I don't know. Okay. Of course, I don't always know or get an answer I can understand, but I can always try my best. And sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. And when I do understand, that helps me to care. Maybe someone would say I am obsessed with understanding, but I don't mind. I like it. Have you ever tried asking more? Like, who was involved? When did this happen? Has it happened before? And if so, why? And so on. There are literally tons of information just waiting to be found out. Most great things have been found by accident, by the way, when people were actually looking for something else. I could of course always opt out and not care about the world, but that has never been a real option for me. If that would happen, I don't know what I would care about. Maybe a box of kittens, who knows. I guess I'm trying to say that it's not easy to understand the world today, and I don't know why I have such a desire to do so. The world changes so fast that I guess I feel I have to, in order to not fall behind. For me, it has always been a polarized choice. Understand or don't. I try to always remind myself that most people absolutely care about something. Everybody does. As long as you are healthy and have a curiosity, we just care about different things. So, are we caring less? No, we're not caring less. We are caring about different things. Some are passionate, some are not. Some know what is important to them, some are still searching. But even if the world is deterministic and there is little we can do about changing it, on the universal scale, it's still pretty damn awesome. Thank you for listening. Until next time.